Hey there, thanks for joining us here at Rose Quartz Mediumship for our October 2023 Tarot and Oracle card reading. So today I'm going to be using the Light Seer Tarot deck, the Moonology deck, and the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck. October is always a very intense month because the veil is so thin. Check out our spiritual and metaphysically based video for details about that. Every card reader is different. For me, when a card jumps out of the deck, I always take it out because there's always a message there for me. If I put it back in the deck, it almost always comes back out anyways. So might as well leave it out. There's also typically a message about how the deck feels in my hands and the way that the shuffling goes. And as you can see, there have been multiple times where the cards have not been very smooth. So I think in the month of October, we might have some unsettled energy. And so my recommendation is to ground through any sort of unsettled energy. The bottom of the deck is always the shadow card in the deck for me. So we're going to pull them all out and then kind of take a look at what is there for us to look at for the month of October. The individual cards as well as what is the message collectively. I do always read the Mystical Shaman Oracle card out of the book for you guys because I don't really like paraphrasing this particular deck. Oop. There we go. All right, so let's see what we can expect in the month of October. So the first card that is really making itself very well known to me is Believe in the Impossible, which is the blue moon. Believe in the impossible. And for me, this is just a reminder to believe in magic. And when I say magic, I'm not talking about a magic show. I'm talking about the magic of life. Sometimes we will end up in mind in a very narrow space where we're very limited in what we think is possible. And for me, I'm feeling this recommendation in the month of October to allow yourself to function outside of what you think is possible, for you to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. It is a beautiful month with the veil being so thin for us to connect with ancestors or loved ones who are on the other side. So believe in the impossible. Create some space and time for you to connect with your ancestors, for you to connect with your loved ones who are on the other side of the veil in spirit form. The other card that's coming up and really kind of popping for me is the Sun. And so this is really a recommendation to welcome in all of the light sides of life and know that there is a lot to be grateful for. There's a lot of beauty in this human experience. And sometimes we get so busy and so caught up in our life that we forget to focus on the absolute stunning details of the human experience. You know, when you really zoom out, the universe is enormous. It's enormous. And you get the privilege of being on Mother Earth, which is this absolutely stunning planet with so much to offer. And you get to be here as a human feeling all of the beautiful emotions and feelings of being human. We've got a couple cards in reverse. So we've got the 9 of Pentacles and the 9 of Wands. And so for me, this is a reminder that you are not at the end. You've worked so hard. There's still so much more to go in this human experience in this life. So recognize all that you have done, all that you are doing. And just remember that you're not exactly where you're going. You're on a path, on a journey, and enjoy the journey that you're on. Enjoy the path that you're on. Enjoy the process that you're in, instead of focusing on being at the end of it, on the outcome. Find places in the journey, on your path, to enjoy and to really love. We may have a little bit of unsettled anxiety, depression kind of energy going on in the month of October. This is a reminder to really drop into a gratitude practice to make sure that you're grounding. Grounding is such an important thing for us all of the time. And certainly in the month of October, having a grounding practice is going to serve you incredibly well. There is an encouragement and reminder to work with others. Community, connection, having a sense of belonging with other people is so wildly important. And so there's a reminder or a nudge in the month of October to connect, to be in a container, to be in a community, to be part of something bigger than you. And this doesn't have to look like anything specific. It can be whatever it is that you are wanting connection to be. But a little nudge from the universe to immerse yourself in some form of community in the month of October. This is a beautiful reminder to come from a heart-centered space, to open your beautiful heart, to recognize the absolute beauty of your heart and everything that it has to offer, to stand in an empowered position and to stand in love rather than focusing on fear. The shadow cards for our deck is a fiery climax approaches. So we may have some fear around change. And the kind of message that I'm getting with this is to release fear. Don't spend your month focusing on fear. Spend your month focusing on all the beautiful things that you have in your life. We get to choose our mindset, and we get to choose so much of the stories that we tell around our human experience. And so focusing on fear is going to give you one kind of experience. Focusing on gratitude for all of the beautiful things that you have that are going right in your life is going to give you a very different kind of experience. The other shadow card is the Nine of Swords. And so again, we might have some unsettled energy. We saw that with the shuffling. We saw that, with a couple cards in this pull already, that most likely there'll be some unsettled energy, which is not surprising. When the veil is very thin, it's a beautiful time for us to release energy, for us to release patterns, for us to look at what's not working well in our life. And so, when I feel into the shadow card, there may be parts of you that you want to work on improving, shifting, changing. And that's okay. Work towards those things, but don't get stuck in a state of focusing or perseverating on the negative. And then I'm going to read this card to you. This is the one from the Mystical Shaman Oracle. We got the Child. And I'm going to read this card. I love this card so much. It is such a beautiful, beautiful card. The Essence. The child knows the way to joy and happiness. The child offers the return of a second innocence, a time born of wisdom and not of naivety. This card allows you to correct your course and offers you a second chance. It brings you the possibility of redemption and entering heaven while on earth. The Invitation. The child is here to release you from a habit of being yourself and to help you acquire a beginner's mind so that you can see life as if for the first time. Remain open to learning and discovery. Who is your spouse or partner today? Can you see them with fresh eyes? Who is looking back at you in the mirror this morning? Become a mystery unto yourself and reconnect with a sense of childlike wonder. This is a little bit what we were talking about in the shadow cards, that it's an opportunity for us to really look at ourselves differently, see ourselves differently. We have a story about who we are, and can you let go of that story for a moment and see yourself as you are today versus who you have been in the past? The medicine. The child comes to show you how you can correct the course of your life without being punished. I'm going to read that line again because I think it's a really beautiful one. The child comes to show you how you can correct the course of your life without being punished. We do not need to suffer just because we're not the person who we want to be. We can make changes and feel gratitude for our growth rather than focusing on or perseverating on who we used to be. Things that we may have done that we're not proud of, ways that we've shown up that we're not proud of. Set yourself free from your conditioning of suffering. You were born unfeathered and happy, and can be so again if you make the choice to right now. The child will help you climb out of the hole you may have dug yourself into and recover your sense of play. If you have worked with me, you know that I am a huge, huge advocate for play. The vibration of play is absolutely something that I think aligning with and spending time in serves us all well. And so I would encourage you in the month of October to find play, to invite play into your reality and spend time playing as frequently as you can, and see how aligning with the vibration of play can really and truly change your life. Thank you for being here with us at Rose Quartz Mediumship.